Welcome everyone to Health Coach TV. I'm your host, Dr. Shauna Menard, and I am here with the amazing Marla Mulkey. Hi, Marla.
Hi, Dr. Shauna. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, we are going to talk all things blood sugar today. So if you're pre-diabetic or you've been struggling with this, you will definitely want to tune in, grab a pen. Let me introduce the awesome Marla Mulkey. She is a certified holistic health coach. She's a graduate of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, IIN, and the Awakened Healers program. She has a passion for wellness. Her philosophy is that our bodies have the natural capacity to heal and will do so with optimal nutrition and lifestyle. She believes in small, daily, practical changes over time to shift one's identity to the desired goal. Through her own blood sugar experiences, she uses tips and tools to balance internal systems to increase energy, enhance mood, and feel one's best to live life fully. Marla resides in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, California. So welcome, Marla. It is so great to have you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into this. Tell people a little bit. We showcase different health coaches on Health Coach TV. Tell us what it is that you do as a health coach.
Thanks. Well, I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, and I help stressed pre-diabetic women in midlife boost their energy, balance their blood sugar, and without dieting so they can live lives full of confidence and vitality.
Awesome. And so what had you get into this line of work? Usually people have a personal story that leads into their professional story. So tell us a little bit about you and what your background is.
Yes, I definitely fall into that category. Well, first, it was about 6 years ago. I wasn't feeling well. I felt fatigued, bloated. I had sugar cravings, and I snacked more than I cared to admit. I just felt stuck. So years of struggle went by, and I was eventually diagnosed as pre-diabetic in my blood lab results and the reports that they give you. So this was a clue as to how I'd been feeling.
Yeah.
So the second situation was that of close family members. They had some scary symptoms seemingly out of the blue, like hair loss, palpitations, and skin rashes, even after seeing multiple doctors. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's where we all go first, right, is to the doctors. So went through that for a while, and it finally drove my curiosity to find out more about the human body. And it was then after learning from many functional, alternative, holistic doctors that I started to believe that there was more we could do to raise our own level of health. And that all led me to IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. This was I'm kind of going on, maybe saying too much, but IIN was a one-year program, had various ways of measuring in order to graduate. And one was to do multiple health histories. And at that time, I wasn't intending to coach others. It was really mostly for my family. I just wanted to learn more. And a lot of the functional doctors that I was following were teaching in this program. So in order to graduate, you do health histories, and two of the participants that did health with me asked to keep working with me. And I was so surprised, but at that time they were offering free business cards for coaches, and it was serendipitously the very last day to order those cards. And I thought, you know what, why not? It's COVID. It was the very, very start of COVID. And my job in alumni events at a nearby university was slowly coming to a halt, was questionable. So I decided to jump in and pursue health coaching. I really loved it. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. And so this is.
Awesome. That is, it's not an uncommon story where people go there for their own own health, and IIN is a phenomenal program, and you will learn and help, yourself. But once you've helped yourself and close family members, then you can't help but want to help others too. And when you realize you can help others and you have the know-how and you know what it's like to suffer with the bloating and the fatigue and the lack of energy and all of that, and just feeling awful and stuck. And we'll dive into some of the ramifications of blood sugar and the problems with that. That is, you can't help but want to help others. So I love that story. What sort of results did you see for yourself? What sort of things did you learn as you became a health coach?
Absolutely, yes. Well, during this time, I learned that blood sugar was imperative to overall good health. And research into the work of more specialized experts and doctors, PhDs, et cetera, such as Mark Hyman, Ben Bickman, Jesse Ishowsky, just their research was so eye-opening, and I started applying it right away. Most importantly, what, when, and how to eat. That movement after meals causes excess glucose to be used up by those muscles, and a continuous glucose monitor that would tell me specifically which foods spiked my own personal blood sugar. And that was important because we're all different. And IIN uses a term bioindividuality, which just means some foods that might spike my blood sugar might not spike yours. So it was really good information. And so now I feel better. I'm aware of factors that either elevate my health or don't. And I enjoy eating everything I did before, but I avoid the sugar roller coaster and craving snacks, mindless snacking. I'm very deliberate, and most of the time anyways, and enjoy feeling good in my body. So the bloating, the fatigue, the sugar cravings are gone, and I'm back in balance. My energy is back. So that was really exciting. And of course, life can throw you curves that can, put you off track. But I've learned that you just get right back on the horse, get right back on track, and continue on.
I love it. So really a profound shift in you, and then having the tools so that you can walk this path and know how to get back on track if you get thrown off a little bit, which we all tend to as we navigate this journey. There are some things that are extenuating circumstances. So to be able to have that path to get back onto is awesome. So is that why you became a health coach, in order to help others like this?
Absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the people that you help, about, how do you work with your clients? How does that all work in your practice?
Yes, well, most of my clients feel much like I felt. They're maybe in midlife transitions, feel stuck, don't know which way to turn. They're confused about nutrition, because you can read every side of the nutrition controversy that you want. So they would think one thing, think they could eat something, and then the next article they read was like, don't eat that. So they were confused about nutrition. They wanted to get moving in a positive direction, improve their lives for the better. So they're looking for increased energy, confidence, to feel vibrant in their bodies at the best weight for them. And sometimes it was not what they thought. They would lose less and feel so much better. They were perfectly happy with that, which was the most important thing. They understand how food choices affect their energy, their appetite, hormones, mental clarity, and can apply it. I walk them step by step. Can I tell you a little more?
Sure.
I walk them step by step through my magic metabolism process, and I work with them very closely, mostly virtually, so it's easy for anyone, anywhere, to work with me. There's plenty of accountability and support, but they also know exactly what to do to get to the other side, to get from their old identity to their new identity. And most importantly, we get them the results that they're looking for.
Excellent. I love that. So what are some of the biggest myths? I like when I have experts in areas here to speak with. What are some of the biggest myths that you hear people talking about when it comes to blood sugar? Because people have a variety of ideas about blood sugar. What do you encounter when you're talking to people?
Yes. Well, like I said, blood sugar affects every aspect of one's health. And I had no idea. I mean, I knew it wasn't wise to eat tons of sugar. But I thought it was mostly just important for diabetics and getting insulin. But yet blood sugar can be the other side of that. And we all eat. It's natural to spike, for our blood sugar to spike after eating. And managing those spikes is really what it's all about. Applying the basics around eating habits and lifestyle, because again, what works for some may not work for others. One other myth around what you're eating is people, I'm surprised at this, and maybe the more educated viewer watching this on Health Coach TV would already know this, but fat does not make us fat. Sometimes people think that, and healthy fat is great for balancing hormones and satiety. Slowly that message is getting out there, but many of my clients were really not aware of that, still under the spell of the 80s, which was amazing to me, but I understand everybody has different ideas.
Yeah, back in the 80s, it was that low fat craze. Hey, and even still, like that message was repeated everywhere. Everyone was saying it. The media was saying it. The doctors were saying it. Everybody's saying it. And even still, it's hardwired into a certain generation, and it's crazy because you think, oh, I better not eat that because that will make me fat. That's fatty food that will make me fat. And it's just kind of, even though people know better, still they're not knowing, like on paper. And so that will take a while. So I can understand how that can be pervasive, especially in a certain generation. I think that younger ones that didn't grow up with that were born after that time period, they probably can't understand why we have that crazy idea. But for all of us, we were hearing it everywhere. So why is blood sugar so important? What's the big deal about blood sugar?
Well, it is what I mentioned earlier, right? It leads to the things that we mentioned before: moodiness, low energy, sugar, snack cravings, etc. But more importantly, it leads to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and insulin resistance. And those are the foundation for chronic disease as well as cancer. We hear how prevalent that is now. So it's, and I almost forgetting to mention, Alzheimer's is known as type 3 diabetes. So it's all the more reason to be aware.
Yeah.
A higher balanced blood sugar can wreak havoc on your entire health and your life. So it's super important: your body, your immunity, and relationships.
Yeah, that blood sugar spike is, your mood goes like that, your relationships go like that, your body goes like that. It's absolutely, it affects everything. It seems like a simple thing, but it affects everything, and not just for diabetics. Everybody that has a body is everybody, literally. Let's imagine that there is someone out there who is struggling with their blood sugar. Maybe they know they're struggling with their blood sugar. Maybe they know they're pre-diabetic. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just have unexplained, persistent bloating, fatigue, weight gain. They just feel, brain fog, and they don't even know their blood sugar is out of balance. Maybe they even have anxiety on the other side of that. What are some simple tips that they could implement like right away today to help smooth out and balance that blood sugar? Just share a few No, just share a few tips that they could implement that would start to help them shift into balance.
That are easy and practical.
Yes.
Absolutely. So first, I would say the easiest is hydration. Our brain doesn't differentiate between thirst and hunger. And so we often eat when we're hungry, or we think we're hungry. But again, the brain doesn't differentiate. So we eat first, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But to drink a healthy beverage, such as water or even an herbal tea, first, if you're unsure, is really beneficial. Most people are dehydrated and aren't even aware of that. So they can benefit from drinking more water. And they'll notice, again, boosted mood, more energy, mental clarity, and a slimmer waistline, actually, which is kind of fun. So it's a simple tip that goes a really long way, and it prevents them from drinking other things such as soda or energy drinks, we'll say.
Sure, yeah.
Their blood sugar. Another tip, you asked for more than one, let's see. So to move after every meal, that was one thing I learned. I mentioned that earlier. So there's studies and research that show as little as 2 minutes after eating, 2 minutes of movement after eating makes a huge difference in regulating your blood sugar. 10 to 20 minutes provides even more. So if you can walk around the block, that's great, especially during summertime. But as little as 2 minutes. So if you're in a place where you're unable, you have company or whatever, you're unable to go for a walk, or they don't want to go, or what have you, you can get up and do the dishes for a little bit, distract yourself in some way to at least move. So again, a simple thing that does not take a lot of time, but has a huge benefit. I have a couple more. Eating protein to build muscle, especially as we age. Muscles utilize excess glucose, and great news takes the place of fat. So starting at breakfast is especially helpful. That activates satiety and the hormone leptin, which is your appetite suppressor. So that's really helpful. So notice if you have protein in the morning, that will satisfy you longer, elongate your blood sugar curve for 4 to 6 hours. That's a good way of measuring. Many of my clients are in the 50 plus category. So they're naturally losing muscle. And that happens and causes problems in itself. So getting adequate protein into your body helps keep it stronger. So that's super important. And I have mentioned to people, if you haven't heard of Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, she's really interesting and she has YouTubes and she's really good. She stresses that muscle is the organ of longevity. And her quote, and this I've heard a lot since studying it, is that we as a society are not over fat, we're just under muscled. So it's kind of good news, right? You don't have to focus on losing the fat, but building your muscle, which I think is easier personally, but I know everybody's different.
I love all of that you just shared. That is fantastic. We're not over fat, we're under muscle. And, we talk about nutrition, and rather than making any food item forbidden fruit, crowding it out. And so rather than saying you can't drink this, drink water. And rather than say, get rid of all your fat, lose all that fat, build muscle. These are more positive steps that you can take. And you're right, sarcopenia, as we get older, we're tending to lose our muscle mass, more apt to fall, more apt to not be able to function daily. And it's huge. And all of it, when you have that muscle, it is connective tissue to the overlying skin, and it's more youthful. It lifts things up, even in your face, if you build the muscles in your face. Whereas if you just let nature take its course and don't combat that muscle wasting, the muscles get thin. It's sort of a use it or lose it type of scenario, and everything starts to to sag, but it doesn't have to be that way. And it's not just an appearance thing, it's a function. Just to be able to function, be able to take care of yourself is huge, be able to go on those vacations. And I really love your tip about walking, even briefly, or being active after meals, because a lot of times the whole thing is I lay down on the couch or watch Netflix or something like that. And a simple little thing to do that can be built into a healthy routine, really simple, doesn't take a lot of time, can have huge spin-off benefits. And I'm going to guess that that's part of your magic metabolism process. So it doesn't have to be painful. It can be quite enjoyable. And that is why you get such great results with your clients, which leads really to the next question. Whenever we're helping somebody with, let's say in this case, blood sugar balance or their weight or their energy, there's, in my experience, talking to many health coaches over the years, some spin-off benefits that they hadn't planned on. What are some of the spin-off bonus benefits that your clients have experienced? In what have you noticed?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. Well, I think mostly my clients are happy in their bodies. They just feel better. They have more energy. They have a lightness to them. And they're empowered to make informed choices around food. And they know, again, how to get back on track if they jump off. And we all do, as we've said. So we work on that as well as other aspects of my program, such as stress, sleep, mindset. I mean, and there are many others, but those are just a few. And so my clients know if a particular food is not good for them, they know why and can make conscious decisions. I can give a case example if you'd like me to.
Yeah. I love specific stories because that always really brings it on home. Yeah, share an example if you have.
Okay. So one of my clients, Janet, I can say her name because she said I could give her, she wrote me a testimonial, but she decided she needed a fresh start. We've been working together just a little bit. And she said, you know, it's really hard for me to implement these because I implement them all week, but my husband wants to travel on the weekend. And it makes it really hard to keep going. She said she works full time and her husband's retired. So even if she knew what to do, she just had a hard time keeping up. So she said she really wanted to just get a fresh start. So I devised a 10-day reset for her. And we detoxed her from sugar primarily, but some other things too that she was interested in. And she was very motivated, which was key. And she almost immediately, once she did this detox, she'd set aside 10 days, we prepared for it. And once she did that, like almost immediately, it seemed like she was reporting back to me saying how she had more energy and she usually was sluggish in bed and she just felt like she could just jump right up and get out for the morning. And she was really excited. Another side of it was she had mentioned this to some friends that it was just a temporary thing. And she had, you know, she's busy and social. And so she had these engagements. So she had side effect of going out with people and her friends were surprisingly supportive saying, oh gosh, maybe I need to learn this too. And totally supported her. And she said that was a big surprise to her because they had these, you know, rituals or traditions of going out quarterly and grabbing a greasy burger, French fries, and a shake at a more gourmet spot, but it was still the same food nevertheless. And during the detox, she wanted to just stay away from that. So she used practical tips and tools to implement everything she needed to make herself feel better and to identify as a healthy person.
Yeah, I think, and just really shifting that idea of being identity of being confused, not knowing what to do, having to choose between traveling with her husband and having a good time or being healthy. And I think you were sharing with me earlier that, she would be good all week. And then it was like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And then with the 10-day reset and the detox, you were able to allow her to do both. So you have a way to keep on track, being able to travel and enjoy it guilt-free, stay hydrated, still implement some of the things, stay hydrated, and enjoy an after-dinner stroll, de-stress. All of those things are great for blood sugar balance that she could implement on the weekends as well, which made her whole experience traveling even better than not. And if there are foods that got in there that normally wouldn't, it's okay, because we're going to clean it up, bring it back onto balance before we get too far off track. And it's like, oh, I'm one of those people who it looks like she eats whatever she wants, because she is eating whatever she wants, and still stay slim and lean and energetic. And she's become that person, just having those tools in the toolkit, knowing what to eat, when, how, all of those things, and customizing it, like you were saying before, the bio-individuality for her is a game changer. So she now is somebody who's confident. And I love that. That is very powerful. So it's not like going on a diet that, well, I'm just going to do this, and as soon as I'm off, then it's all going to unravel and unwind. This is life.
Gives you a really good baseline for how good you can feel. So when you start not feeling so good, you can pull yourself back.
Yes. Oh, so good, Marla. That is great. Well, if people have questions for you, how can people reach out to you and connect with you, ask questions of you?
Thanks. Yes, I'd love it if you do, and I can help you. I would love it. I'm at healthcoachmarla.com is my website. And quarterly, I try to do quite often a free 5-day sugar detox challenge. And so you can get involved in that by free 5-day sugardetoxchallenge.com. And then you can register for the free 5-day, and it's really fun. It's simple. I keep it as practical and easy to integrate into your life as possible.
Awesome. So that's healthcoachmarla.com. And if you're wanting to look and see if she has one of those free 5-day challenges running, just head over to free 5-day sugardetoxchallenge.com. And that's the number 5 in there rather than spelled out. So Health Coach Marla, MARLA.com is probably the best way. I know you're also on social media as Marla Mulkey. And then check out the free 5-day sugardetoxchallenge.com. But you can follow her, and every time she's running one of those challenges, you'll be first in line. So thank you so much, Marla, for sharing your wisdom, for your tips, and for doing this incredible, great work that you do. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for the opportunity, Dr. Shauna.
My pleasure. Well, that's it for this episode of Health Coach TV. If you like this episode, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have a question for Marla or myself, or if there is a topic that you would like to see covered, pop that in the comments. I'm always open to exploring new topics for you. With that, have a fantastic week, everyone, and be good for you.